Drive here in San Francisco. My name is Maria, and I'm standing here with Roy from Foretellix.
Hi.
Hi. Can you briefly introduce yourself and the company you're representing?
So I'm Roy. I had business development and marketing in Foretellix. And Foretellix is coming to tackle what we believe is the biggest barrier for vehicle autonomy, which is safety.
Okay.
How do you know when the AV, when the autonomous vehicle is ready to go on the road? That's
the question you wanted to take. And this is also reflected in your mission, like make autonomous vehicles safer. How do we want to achieve that, or your company, how do you want to achieve that?
So one of the main focuses that we currently have is to try to make a shift in a paradigm of the industry to move from the idea of counting miles or quantity of miles to something that we define as quality of coverage.
Okay.
How will the AV face all of those huge number of hundreds of millions of scenarios that it might face on the road?
Yeah.
So this is the statement is basically to move from quantity of miles to quality of coverage. We believe this is the only tangible way to actually reach real levels of safety.
So if I'm not on the road or with my AV on the road and test, how can I say it's safe? Because you said it's not the quantity of the miles.
So we are not saying that you don't need to do a lot of testing.
Okay.
You do need to do a lot of testing. But the question is, how do you do it?
Okay.
What is the way? Is it scalable or not? What are you looking for? Let's say that we take, the concept of quantity of miles. Let's say that you have a car driving between Berlin and Frankfurt.
Yeah.
And you, maybe a fleet of cars doing exactly that. What is the fraction of scenarios that you will cover that can happen to a car in this kind of a drive, back and forth? So we claim that the percentage of scenarios that you will cover will not be so big because you have a lot of things that can happen to a car, a lot of scenarios. So that's like the main idea of switching between quantity of miles to quality of coverage, because you want to try, instead of counting the miles, to understand how well were the scenarios that can happen to a car be covered. There can be hundreds of millions of those scenarios, and you need a method, you need a methodology, you need a way to do it. But the idea is to move from this kind of metric to the other one.
So do you have a solution how to do it?
Yes, so we do have something. That's like why we are here. So we provide a tool suite together with a methodology. The methodology is called coverage-driven verification.
Okay.
It is a proven methodology that is used today in the chip industry by giants like Intel, Qualcomm to verify chips. In the semiconductor industry, you have chips that have billions of gates with different conditions, and you need very complex verification in order to actually verify that the chip is ready for production. The cost of failure in this industry is, in the chip industry, is money. The cost of failure in the automotive industry is lives. So it is a little higher. And of course, you need adaptation between the two. But we believe that this methodology is the right way to reach fast deployment and reach the right edge cases that you want to cover and reach the full coverage that you need in order to actually say that the autonomous vehicle is safe. We provide a tool suite that is basically very scalable. You can define a relatively small set of abstract scenarios, and then they will be generated into hundreds of millions of scenarios. The process will be iterative, meaning that it will always improve, and you will always be able to see how much did you cover and what you want to cover more versus your original plan. And after a lot of those cycles, you will reach a level of confidence then that you, the OEM, the tier one, the AV stack provider, or maybe the regulators, the insurance companies, they will say, when are you done? When are you safe? When are you confident enough to release your AV stack?
So this raises the question, how high is the bar for safe? So when can you say it's safe?
It's a good question. I think that you will never reach a full level of coverage. It is not possible. And the level of, let's say, when are you confident enough will be defined either by the OEM and Tier 1 themselves that will want to reach a certain level of confidence that they believe is enough after a lot of iteration and using the tools. And another way is certification bodies and regulators will say, okay, this is the basic, this is what we want, this is the level, this is the bar, and the tool will provide the ability to actually reach this bar.
Okay, because you said, okay, regulators are setting the bar for safe, what is safe,
it
so
can
to say.
be,
What it can be. And you are providing the tools to reach that bar or even go higher.
Yes.
Right now, do we have a bar like this, or is it more in the in the opinion of the OEM or whoever manufacturer it is to say this is safe and we are going on the road?
Today I believe that there is no actual bar, and I also believe that there is no actual methods to reach the bar.
Okay.
I mean, there are a lot of tools that are used today by OEMs to try to test, OEMs or Tier 1s to try to test the autonomous vehicle. There are test tracks, there are simulations, there are road driving. All of them are important. One of the other things that you must have is an ability to have interoperability, meaning to work with all of them in a unified way. This is the only way to achieve full verification. So in my opinion today, there is no bar, and also there is no way to reach it, really. And we want to provide that.
Okay, so we will have to see in the future that we hopefully have a standard of what is safe and what not, like we have in other industries as well, right?
Yes, you have the aviation industry and you have other industries that also have safety, let's call it safety standards, and we hope, they will be defined, and we hope that we will bring the tools to actually help them reach those goals.
This raises also another question, because you said you provide the tools based on the experiences that were summarized and accumulated in the chip industry. And aviation was also thrown into the conversation. So do the OEMs and the autonomous industry, automotive industry in general, need to look way beyond their own pond, way beyond their own industry to achieve that?
100%. I believe that a lot of the, let's say, more mature in terms, I'm talking about in terms of complex systems, a lot of the industries have very viable solutions that can be applied or at least used partly in order to achieve some of the goals that now the OEMs and Tier 1s and the car makers have, meaning that they are now faced with one of the most complex machines that the humanity ever known, like the autonomous vehicle. So definitely they need to look outwards and see what they can apply. And one of those things is coverage-driven verification coming from the semiconductor industry.
Wonderful. So it's more working together with all the industries, which of course is a fine way of doing business.
We are definitely about transparency and working together and data sharing. I heard a lot in this conference about it, and we are trying to enable it. Our solution is basically a very open solution. It provides transparency to see what was covered and what was not, and yes, you're definitely right.
And let's take a look into the future. When will we reach level 4, level 5 autonomous cars?
Wow,
hopefully.
This is a very, very hard question. I don't know. What I can say is that the industry is at a state of disillusion.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of money was invested, and now I think that the industry understands that it's a little harder than they once thought. You have a lot of technology, but some of the things you need to consider now is actually, what are the operational and practical things that needs to be done in order to say, to release this autonomous vehicle to the road and to drive freely. Partly is also what we provide is helping in that.
So the industry has to, grow up a bit. Not like thinking in the old ways, but thinking new, taking new, technologies and new thinking into their development processes, and like I said, grow up a bit. Yes,
they definitely, they are doing a lot of things right because they are doing it for many years, but also they need to look at things in a way that fits this scale and the level of the challenge, at least in terms of safety.
Yeah, of course, safety, always safety first, like we say in Germany. Last question. How do you like the conference so far? Because it's the format, it is a bit different. We don't only have keynotes, we have challenge your peers sessions, we have a lot of networking sessions, world cafes, icebreaker sessions, dinner that is always accompanied with discussions and, like I said, networking. How do you like that?
So so far it's very, very impressive because the people here are really the right people, that it is very focused on the right part of the industry that at least we are looking towards to meet and to network with. So I'm very happy about the concept and the level of the attendees, very much.
Thank you very much. Good to hear. Then I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference, and hopefully we see each other at the next one.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.